So you started putting content on Pinterest and it doesn't seem like you're getting a lot of clicks. Well, that can be problematic depending on what your goal is and how you are putting your content on the platform. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 considerations that you should make when considering whether or not your Pinterest strategy so far is successful or not. Hey, Heather here, Pinterest marketing extraordinaire, maybe, possibly. I don't know, I've been doing this a lot of years, so I feel like I have a lot of wisdom on this topic. And with that, I wanted to remind you that Pinterest, if you weren't aware, maybe it's a reminder, maybe it's not, Pinterest is a two-sided coin when it comes to being served. The first side of the coin is very much engagement-based. The second side of the coin is SEO or indexing, where it's much like Google. You're indexed based on the keywords that you're using in your pin, as well as the imagery that you're using and the board that it goes on and all of that good stuff. So remember that when you're looking at clicks, you probably need to make a consideration about whether or not you're hitting one algorithm or the other. You can't just rely on one. I would prefer that you rely on both. Now, the last thing that you want to be doing is throwing pins out into the abyss and hoping for something to land. That is not what we want. In fact, we actually want this to be strategic. So the very first consideration that I want you to make if you are looking to get more clicks in 2023, or you're trying to troubleshoot why you're not getting clicks so far, timeliness of your content. I want you to take a look at the Pinterest Trends tool specifically and put your content into the Trends tool and see when it's going to be the most popular. Now, a lot of people actually have an issue when it comes to this because they're posting pins that are timely right now, but they should have been posting those months ago. So if the trend is happening right now or this month or in the coming week, chances are you are going to miss the boat because you should have been pinning about that in the weeks leading up to that event happening. Pinterest Trends is a really great place to go and verify when your content is going to be on the uphill slide, and you want to be posting those pins before it starts to rise so you can get in on that wave of goodness, right? All right, so once you consider timeliness, always remember that Pinterest is very trend-based. It's very moments-based. Holidays, anniversaries, like these things happen in shifts, especially when big holidays happen. 30 to 90 days in advance is when you want to be posting your standard and video pins. You can do a more timely topic going into the next consideration, which is which pin type are you utilizing? There are different pin types that are used for different reasons. Engagement builders are definitely idea pins and video pins. And traffic, like website traffic type pins, are very much carousel and standard pins. Now, you can still use video pins and soon idea pins to drive website traffic to your place on the internet, but on Pinterest, in general, people have been trained to engage with content but not leave the platform on things like video pins as much, but for sure idea pins. So if the timeliness of your content is right now, the trend is happening in the next week or so, and you want to post pins about it, then you should shift your content type to be idea pins because they are served more in the moment. They are more trend-based usually, not always, but they do get served really quickly because there is an entire idea pin algorithm that does serve content more quickly in that medium. If it's a standard pin, and let's say today is St. Patrick's Day and you're posting today about St. Patrick's Day, you've already missed the boat. You should have been posting about that 30 to 90 days ago. Number 3, let's talk about the design of your pin. We're gonna get a little nuanced here and we do have examples. I really wanna stress to you that the design of your pin matters. But also there are other things that are going to come in this video in just a moment that also matter. So To give you some context, I took a deep dive into 2 of my own Pinterest accounts as well as like 4 of our client Pinterest accounts. Now, I can't show you examples from client Pinterest accounts because I have signed agreements with them to not share without permission. And I just don't want to get in the habit of doing that. So I'm giving you a back-end look of my own content, and I do okay on Pinterest. My travel blog especially does very well. So what I see on Pinterest doing the best for clicks is how to and list type content or value pins, something that someone is going to learn from, not necessarily always buy from. Because remember, the majority of our audience hangs out in the awareness phase of a buyer journey. Very few people are in the bottom of that buyer journey where they're actually purchasing. So because more people are in the top looking at awareness, more people are looking to learn how to do something, to do or try in the do, buy, or try Pinterest motto. What we want to focus on when we're looking to get more clicks is thought-provoking language. So I often call this polarizing language. So how to get this stinky smell out of your RV without using toxins. That's more thought-provoking over get rid of the smell in your RV, right? That's boring. But how to buy an RV and not get ripped off, that's thought-provoking. How to buy an RV and save money, maybe not as thought-provoking. You're probably gonna get some clicks on that, but it's not as thought-provoking as not get ripped off. So we wanna use how to, literally how to, lists, 5 best. Those 2 types of content do super well on Pinterest. And I'm seeing this in the data. So let's go ahead and take a look. So I'm gonna put some screenshots up on the screen. And the very first one is my Pinterest account. So the screenshot shows pins on the left. It's very hard to see. Feel free to pause. And the titles of the pins on the right. The very top pin in this list is Pinterest Ads, a complete guide for, and it cuts off, but it's for getting started with promoted pins. The number 2 one is how to get traffic to your YouTube channel. So how to, a complete guide for, those are good, this language people are going to learn. They know they're gonna learn. How to write pin titles, free strategy guide. Do Pinterest ads really work? Question mark. Pinterest trends, how to use the new trends tool. The only Pinterest education you need. I'm trying to use more thought-provoking titles, like for example, the only Pinterest education you need. And how to create a podcast marketing plan on Pinterest. Now that's example number 1 from my marketing blog. You can see a lot of the language is complete guide, how to, learn, things like that. The next example we're gonna put up on the screen now is from my travel blog. This is very heavily dominated by 2 different blog posts, but about 10 different Pinterest images between the 2 that are all either thought-provoking, list style, or how-to. They hit all the marks. So the very first one is actually that really ugly image of me I've talked about in the past if you've been here a while, where it's literally my back and I'm pinning curtains to an RV valance, and it just says how to recover RV window valances. That's it. There's no text on the image. It's just an image of me, but the pin title says it all. The next one is RV Essentials, what to buy after you buy an RV. And then there's a number of the RV Essentials pins, the same title, but different images. So I don't remember all of the text overlays on the images at this point, but you can go look at them. They're definitely like, so you don't waste money, to save money, only the things that you need to buy, phrases like that. So again, it's very much in that how to, this is what you need, save money, don't waste money frame of mind, because that's what people care about. So as I take a look at the same thing, but on client accounts, I'm actually noticing the same themes. 9 ways to style your little black dress. 3 ways to wear eyeshadow in your daily makeup routine. 5 activities to do at home with your kids over winter break. Those are very much the same how-to list style, value-driven pieces of content. Now, I am not telling you that every single piece of Pinterest content that you create needs to be how-to list-based or value-driven or have polarizing titles. No. But what I am telling you is if you want to get more clicks on Pinterest, especially if you're e-commerce and you're not already creating content, then this is something that you need to incorporate, and it should very much be part of your strategy regularly. Keep in mind that Pinterest pins do take time to be indexed, and if you don't get engagement on them right away within the first hour of them being posted, then the engagement algorithm is not going to pick it up and continue to serve it either. So it may take weeks or even months for these pins to gain traction, and that is just the name of the game on Pinterest, because it is primarily a search engine with a little sprinkle on top of engagement. We really have to make sure that we're doing our job correctly when it comes to keywords, which is number 4. Before we dive into number 4, I actually want to walk you through 2 examples, and then this is going to bleed really nicely into number 4, which is keywords. So let's just put these up on the screen, Sonia. So what I want to look at here are 2 Pinterest images for 2 different examples. So the first Pinterest image is a woman standing in a mirror with her phone. She's styled a little black dress and she's taking a photo of herself. There is 0 text on this image. In fact, I had to scroll for a hot minute to even find this example. Example number 2 is a 4-image pin. It's got 4 images, and in the middle is a block of text that says, "How to style a black dress." That pin was at the top of the feed, and the other pin with no text of the woman just in the mirror taking a photo of herself was about midway down. Probably a good 10 or so scrolls before I found it. Now you tell me, based on placement of where I found those pins, which one is more compelling. It's definitely the image to me that has all the text that was towards the top. Because it's easy to read, you can see the images. The images support the overall design and call out, like how to style a little black dress. The images support the pin, but the call out with the text is what gives people context and helps them to know what your pin is about. If I was just looking at the little black dress example of the woman in the mirror, I wouldn't know really thoughtfully, honestly, if I'm looking at the mirror. Am I looking at the shoes? Am I looking at her hair? Am I looking at the dress? Is it the carpet? Is it the couch? What am I looking at? Without actually having to go and read the pin title and the description, I wouldn't know. And we don't want to do that with our Pinterest images. In order to get more traffic, we really need people to know what the pin is about by just looking at the image. And that's it. The other stuff provides context and helps to get people to the website, and that's great, but we don't want to rely as a crutch on our pin title or the description to get people there. The image itself needs to do about 90% of all the work. Example number 2, and then I promise we're going to talk about keywords. This is a makeup example. I went looking for this one because I find that actual tutorials help me to visualize and help me to explain it to you better. So the first example is a woman looking down, just a picture of her face. There's no text on it. There's not even branding on this photo. The next example is a Pinterest image. It's big black and white. There's an image in the middle with a woman's eye and a brush. It says natural eye makeup, 5 step-by-step tutorials. Which one do you think is going to get more action? I want you to answer that to yourself before I tell you where I found each image in the feed. I bet you can guess where I found each image in the feed. The image with all the text on it, the natural eye makeup 5 step-by-step tutorials, was in the top, very top row, 3rd pin to the right. The second image of the woman's face, yet again, I had to scroll about 10 times to find an image to support my example. So let's talk about keywords, and this can be quite possibly one of the hardest things to analyze because we don't have tools on Pinterest like we do with Google, where we can plug in our domain and Google tells us how much traffic we're getting, how many impressions, how many clicks, what their growth is over time. We don't have a Google Search Console for Pinterest, unfortunately. And I love that tool for analyzing SEO on my blog and seeing how well I'm doing, but unfortunately we don't have that for Pinterest. So we really have to rely on a few troubleshooting techniques, which I'm gonna go over in a minute, but first we need to talk about keywords. So are you using keywords on your pins, on the image itself, in the title, in the description? These are all places that you should be using keywords. And you cannot simply just use eyeshadow and that's your keyword. No, it has to be like this example I just showed you where it's natural eye makeup, easy contouring tutorials. It needs to be long tail keywords, not just one or two words. Now, theoretically, you use these keywords and your pins should show up in that feed. But if you don't also have the image correct, if the image isn't actually of eyeshadow and you're trying to promote eyeshadow, Pinterest knows what's in the image. And it's going to index it based on what's in the image and the words you use with the image. So make sure that the SEO and the imagery that you're using support the content that you are promoting. The fifth, and possibly this is going to hurt a little bit, especially if you start analyzing your own content. How do I put this nicely? Is your content even good? And this is for both the content that you're creating on your own website and the Pinterest images or content that you're putting on Pinterest. Is the content even good? That's gonna be a hard answer or a hard question to answer if you are analyzing your own content. And we're so close to our own content that it's really hard to get out of that box and actually look at it in a way that is constructive. What I want you to do is take a look at your content on your website that you're promoting on Pinterest. If you are writing blog posts on your website that are a mere 200 words long and you are wanting to promote those on Pinterest, chances are that piece of content is not going to do what you want it to do. It is not going to help people to buy anything, and it's definitely not going to help people to join your email list. In most cases, really poorly created or crafted content then put on Pinterest is not going to go very far. However, if you take time and energy to put into your content and you actually give people value and you actually answer questions that people are asking on Google, not only are you going to be able to rank on Google, but you're also going to be able to get views and traffic, website traffic from Pinterest. The same goes for the other side of that coin. Are your Pinterest images good? It's hard to know, honestly, if your Pinterest images are good or not. Sometimes the ugliest, like the RV example. If your Pinterest image looks like this and it's just an image of me or an image of yourself and there's no context as to what you're doing, it might go viral, like it did in my case, or it might just fall absolutely flat on its ass. And honestly, the majority of people that are putting content on Pinterest, that's what's happening. Because they don't have a grasp on what makes a good Pinterest image. So, is there a keyword? Is the image compelling? If you're using stock images, and I just saw an image like this earlier that said like how to sell art on Pinterest, and the stock image was of a photocopy machine, that lacks so much pizzazz that no one is gonna click on it. No one is gonna click on that. So if you are in that boat and you're like, is my Pinterest image okay? Come and join my community. I would be happy to do an audit for you and we can get you on the right track. However, if you're looking at your pins and you're trying to do some troubleshooting, which I promised you I was gonna go over, here in general is what I see. So if you have high impressions and low to no clicks, usually what we're seeing is the image just isn't compelling or it's not timely. People are just not interested in it right now. It's hard to know because there's so much nuance. If you have high impressions and no or low saves, so no or low saves, but high impressions, this could mean that the image just isn't landing as well with the people on Pinterest. It could be that the image is like, Pinterest is serving it to people, but the image just isn't compelling. There's no call to action. The imagery that you're using isn't great. The text overlay is confusing. Maybe the pin title sucks, who knows? But it's not even a good enough fit for people to save it, and they're getting high impressions. So that's definitely how you know. Chances are you need to work on your overall image style and delivery. If you're just getting low impressions, low or no impressions, then chances are your SEO isn't working and you're also not getting any engagement. So you need to work on that. But this could also mean, now if you're in the first year of your Pinterest account and you're getting no to low impressions, clicks and saves, you have a lot of work to do still in building your foundations and making sure those were built correctly. However, if you're not in the first year of your Pinterest account and you've been doing this a while and you are just noticing no or low impressions, then you definitely do need to work on your overall pin design as well as your SEO. It can be both. What I would start with is probably your SEO strategy, making sure your keywords are on point, and then going back and working on the pin designs. So there's obviously so much nuance in knowing whether or not what you're putting on Pinterest is working or not. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you're looking to learn and implement better, more functional ways that actually bring you results in the coming year. If you are in a place where you're looking to learn how to create a pin plan and your Pinterest images all in one go and actually do this the right way, then I would encourage you to head on over and watch this video where I do all of that and more in just under 2 hours. That's it for this video. I will see you in that one.